This is going to be a very interesting video because I've got David here who's come for a one-to-one, and he's brought with him 6 of his bonsai, and he wants me to give him ideas as to how they can be improved. So it's just like a refresher course. So we're going to look at all these 6 trees in turn and deal with them and see what can be done. Like most people, they like to improve their bonsai, so this is what this session is about. So we'll go through. I'm sure you can relate to this video because most people who do bonsai are at this sort of stage in their bonsai journey, and they will get inspiration and some ideas from what we're going to do. So we'll look at each tree in turn and see how we can improve it, what ideas we have. And remember that there are always more than one solution. So what we say may not be what you agree with, but let's see how we think. So we'll look at each tree in turn. We'll look at the let's look at this tree and critique it. So looking at it, the first impression, it is very symmetrical. It's got a flat top. Usually trees would look better if they have like a triangle or dome shape, and it's almost like an espalier pear or apple tree. All the branches are very uniform. There's not much you can do about it, but you can do a little bit. It's also very flat, so there isn't much depth at the back. The pads are very well arranged, and it's got some movement to it. And I think why the person you bought it from put the rock is because this is a very straight trunk. By putting a rock, you can distract attention from the straightness of the trunk. Yeah. So that is sometimes done, which is a good thing. All right, but let's look at it dispassionately and see how we can change it. Many people do a change or try to do something to trees just for the heck of it. I don't like to do that. I like to do it to genuinely improve it. So let's look at it to see how we can improve the tree. So we're not looking at it in a negative fashion to criticize it, but we are trying to look at it to improve it. Your wiring can be improved a little bit. It's not the classic wiring. You're not using many of the 2-branch principles. I know you used it half-heartedly by anchoring the wiring there, but ideally you should go span the branches with 1 wire. So we'll undo that wire and do it. Now if you turn the tree round, when you look at it like this, it's pretty straight. Same as when you look at it from here, it's pretty straight. But when you turn it round, you see that there is a nice line there. Yeah. So if you were to use this as the front, I know that people use this as the front because the rock is obviously there. This would make a better front. Of course, using a drum pot, it doesn't matter, you can turn it whichever way you want. But if we use this as the front and try to bring the branches more like that, so that will get rid of the very, what you call it, flat look,
yeah,
you
yeah,
see?
where they're all
you see,
overlapping each other.
One plane. So let's do that. So we'll stop the camera for a while. We'll undo the wire and we will rewire the tree. And we will see how this changes. Okay. So we've now unwired the tree, dewired the tree. For the time being, I'm going to keep the rock there, but I'm going to try and use this as the front because it's got more movement because of that bend there. And we're going to change the shape of the tree by using this as the front. The drum pot I'm not too worried about because it's a tall tree, it's got that literati character. So we're going to rewire the tree to give more shape to the tree. So we will show you how we do that. So we're going to use 3.5mm wire, and I'm going to link 2 adjacent branches. So we refreshed David's skills by reminding you. Now we're going to provide a little anchor first, and once it's anchored, then we will wire the other branch. There are little tricks that you should remember. If you have these little knobbly stubs there, if you remove them, it makes the wiring much easier. Okay, now that we've anchored it, we will then go into this branch as close to the trunk as possible. Don't leave big gaps, and then carry on going around here. The spacing also don't take too wide apart. I will talk about the pads in a minute. In fact, because the pads are quite well arranged, if you look at it like this, you see how well the pads are arranged, but it's becoming a bit too wide. Remember, the pads should be like an arrowhead. So if you can use the die, it should be like that, you see? Not as wide as that. This is almost like a round fan, so we're aiming for that sort of shape. So if you have an imaginary view, if you can cut it like that for me.
Okay.
So think of an imaginary line, and we're going to broaden that base, tapering to a point. A lot of people have difficulty imagining a line. That's very nice. Now this is quite wide, so you're going to have to cut there so you get like that. So I did that because it interferes with the wiring too. And you were saying that you have some trouble with the things merging. So if you get the pads too big, they start merging with the other branches. So we're going to do that to all the other pads as well.
Okay.
Now, while we're here, why don't we do this pad as well? So this pad, you see, this has become quite big, but be careful, this could be a potential leader for that branch. So maybe just trim some of these end ones here first. Okay. These ones. You might need to take the odd corner off. So the taper. Okay, now I'll get it to wire. We've got that out, because I think what I want you to do is to take the wire, because this was the original leading bit here. See, this was a side shoot that has run away, but we're going to make use of it by using this like that, so I can get this sort of effect. All right, so if you carry on wiring tight, when you wire, make it really tight, don't keep it loose, and don't get it too close. Okay, carry on to this branch, and when it comes to the end there, we will keep the end loose. Tight, really tight. While the stick is fine. Okay, good. Okay, now we're going to go to there.
Should I go under?
Under would have been
Yep.
better.
Like
Okay,
this?
all right,
Yep.
fine. Yeah, carry on. And then when you come to that end, I will give you the jig pliers to manipulate it. Okay, so when you come here, because it's getting a bit thin, using the gin pliers, you can manipulate it like that and give it like an open coil. Okay, carry on like that. Got that. Yeah, that's it. And then terminate it. That's it. Just do like a little hook. Yeah, great. Now if you do the same thing on this one, wire straight as far as the wire will go. You don't need to do it so tight, you can do it quite wide. Yeah, that's right. Wiring is a skill that requires practice. The more you do, the better you become at it. As I always impress on people, like anything, whether it's swimming, dancing, or whatever, the more you practice, the better you get. Good, so that's neat wiring. Yeah. The gin pliers is a very useful tool for terminating. Okay, so we're looking at it. So remember, we're trying to look at this now as a potential front. So because this is going to be your front, I need to move the branch this way. Larches are quite flexible. They're not that critical, and they don't snap easily. So we take it. Okay. So because the bend is there, I want this branch to come more this way. So So with a bit of care, I'll try. There's a limit to how much we can do, but it's still possible. And then this will come this side. I know it's not the classical V shape like that, but at least it's got a semblance of that disposition of the branches either way. You see, I've now got it like either side, huh?
Yes.
You can see there's a distinct improvement. Now this is in the way I will shorten this a little bit, shorten this a little bit, and I'll shorten this a little bit. The pads are nicely flat and lying, but I've got one this way, one this way. Can you see how nice the thing is lying? Huh? Now thinking about it, I'm not sure if the viewers noticed, we removed the rock. By removing the rock, we don't need the rock. It looks better now with the rock because the way the branches are going, the rock doesn't do anything. The rock just doesn't do anything. So make it easier to carry. Okay.
Yeah, it would.
Okay, so the next one, we can bring probably
This one round.
this way and this one
back.
there and see how it goes like that. Do you see? All right, so we get you to do the next one. Again. Here, let's just stick with the stick wire.
Okay.
See, one piece of wire has already changed the look of the tree. So we are going to do that. So if this is your front, try and take the wire from the back rather than from the front.
Okay,
Don't take it from the front, take it from the back so it's not visible. Make sure you have enough wire to span each of the branches, so that will go to that and that will go to the... A lot of people when they wire, they just put the wire on, they don't think how far the wire will go. But make sure you've got enough to go to each end, and that is the way to do it. And then you can go around the trunk there if you wish, but I think I can go straight up here. Although I think that's why I go into the trunk. There's not so much.
There's a little gap there.
Yeah. That gives a better grip, you see, like that. Much better grip. See, and then do it. Now you carry on.
Okay.
All right? And using the right grade of wire is very important. If you use the wrong grade, that means if it's too thin and it won't do the job, it's frustrating. You may need to put multiple coils of the same grade. But if you hit on the right grade right from the start, it's easier. And now use the gin pliers, and that helps you to manipulate the end more easily.
I think I'm just going to bring that up.
You see how useful that tool is?
Yeah,
the
it
gin
is.
pliers is a nice, useful
It's a
tool.
lot easier.
Yeah. Okay, now let's try and bend it. Okay, remember this is our front panel.
Okay,
So we're going to
now
try and
this
take
one
this
wants to come
side.
back.
Yeah.
Think that'll go further than that?
Yeah.
Or
I usually try and grip it with my palms. Then I can feel if there's any breakage coming up,
yes.
I can
Yeah.
then adjust it. So now they're not lying on top of each other, you see,
Yeah,
that's the object.
That's what I prefer actually.
Yeah, okay. And now I'll ask you to also trim the pads. If we look at this pad, you see how wide that pad is. It's much too wide. So if I can get you to trim it back a touch like that, you know, arrow shape, right?
Okay. And including this thicker branch here.
And-
Include that too.
Yeah, include that as well. Yeah, include that as well. Larches are lovely trees because they go through the seasons. From being dormant and leafless, they get that lovely apple green spring leaf color, and then bright green, and then in the autumn it turns golden, what we call butter yellow. So that's fine.
That, I think. Let's just try and bend
All right,
that.
leave that for the
If
time
I
being.
try and
Yeah.
just bend that around,
Yeah. Okay.
because I feel that wants to be
Yeah.
here.
Okay, let's look at it from here. Now, hang on. I think we need to go there more because if this is the front, this is the front. I want to take this more that side.
Yeah.
Do that.
If a branch has to be
Yeah.
moved quite a long way, is it something that you possibly have to do over a longer period of time? Would that work?
No,
Or
you can use. Sometimes people use a guy wire to pull it down, but I'm trying to get lateral movement to the side, so I think I will have to put a double and link it onto one of these. Maybe take it to the top. So I'm going to look ahead. I'm going to take it to the top. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. It's amazing what wire can do, because without wire, life becomes very difficult. But with wire, you can achieve so much. So when you do a double, always follow the path of the wire absolutely close. We use the term, it should be kissing, you know, almost close like that. So even that should be tight. Now I'm going to take this to the top, if you don't mind, I'll do this. Sort of following that wire, so I'm going to take this to because we're going to change the apex quite a bit. That bit. Don't be tempted to keep adding more and more to the top. A lot of people are afraid to cut the apex, and as a result, the apex will eventually reach the sky. You don't want that. At some point, you've got to call it a day and stop it.
yes.
So, and if you don't want the marks to spoil the tree, then you
You've
should,
seen one there, haven't you?
then you can remove it. But having said that, I always remind people that sometimes we leave the wire permanently on the tree to give character to the trunk. Now I've noticed something else. Looking at the tree from this side, this makes a beautiful front. Don't you agree? It looks better from this side. We were looking at the tree from that side all
Yeah,
the time.
it's completely opposite.
Yeah, it was the opposite side. Look at it from here. This has got one sort of feeling.
This is coming towards
Yeah,
you.
that comes towards you. But this is also very nice. This is also very nice. So I think we will stick with the round pot. But this is very nice. So we've got it going there and there. So that's fine. So this is going to the top. So you see, we're trying to create.
Yes.
We've got rid of the
Yeah.
flat top straight away now, just by taking the apex to the top, and then we're going to bring these down. See how we've changed the tree, huh?
Take a bit off
All
these
right.
branches.
So now we will do some more two branch principle. So we're going to wire this one, and we need to find an adjacent one. So I think the adjacent one, the closest. All right, you tell me what you're going to do. I'm going to wire this branch. I need to anchor it
Well,
to something else.
I was actually going to ask
Okay,
you
yes.
whether or not you thought there's
You
is
remove
that
it.
branch required,
Aha, okay.
because these two seem to me
Okay.
to be doing the same
What
thing.
do you think? And I'll give you my view.
It's going to be
You
wrong,
raised
isn't
a very good point. Very good point. I see what you mean. It is like interfering. It's not
Yes,
in the classical
they-
arrangement.
it? They do the same thing, don't
Yes. This is a very interesting point. You often get this situation. All right, tell me what you think.
they?
Yes?
I think this branch
Should be removed.
should be removed
Okay.
and leave this one
Now-
to take its place.
For once, I will disagree with you.
I knew you
I will
would.
disagree with you. If you come around here, Tracy, so we can have a look. If we remove it, the tree becomes too sparse. It becomes
Right.
too bare. I know that you got enough branches, so I want the top to be fairly full. I know there's a case for keeping both. Or in fact, you can remove this and take this to this side.
Yeah.
You see, take this one to this side and remove this one. You see, if you take this one this way,
Yep.
I get that nice balance, that and that, and I can remove this one. But I like the way this goes up. This is a sort of unusual arrangement of a branch. It goes up and then comes back on itself. So that makes it distinctive, you see. But the main reason why I would prefer to keep it is that if I removed it, the top becomes too sparse. I want the
Right,
top
okay.
to look fairly full. So let's keep it for now. If at some future date you think it's too much, we will get rid of it. Now the point is, okay, this is lying quite well, so I won't interfere too much with that. Oh, that, you see, because it's lying there, I don't need to wire it, you know. The pad is quite good,
Yes.
and it's leading. So I think we will need to deal with these three. So deal with these three. I think we can wire this one, and then this one and this one again. All right, so we've got a 3-branch situation. Let's take it one step at a time. Maybe wire these two first. So we're going to change the thickness of the wire because the branches are getting a bit thinner. So we've got to use the right grade. I always remind people using the right grade of wire is absolutely paramount. You use the wrong grade, you struggle. Okay, so that should do. This is getting down
Just
to
feel that.
3 mil.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, choosing the right grade comes with experience. The more you do, the more you will discover what works and what doesn't work.
There is a
No
little hole
magic
in the back there. If that's
formula.
around the back here, there's a little hole there.
Oh, yes.
Did you see that?
Yeah, you can do that. Perfect. Perfect. Take it through
There's a
and you
very
link
small
this.
one just there.
Yeah, through there. Yeah, perfect.
Because this is something else actually I've had a problem with. When you start putting a lot of wire on, the wire just goes over the top of
Yeah,
other wires, and
Yeah. As long as it looks neat, that is the secret. Wiring should be an enjoyable experience. It shouldn't become a chore. And this is where wiring is a very therapeutic exercise. Yeah, little anchor and then go on to the other.
yeah, just get that
Little
there
anchor.
like that.
I like to wire from the side that we work from. Many other demonstrators like to film from the other side, but when you film from this side, you are imagining that you are actually doing it, so it gives a more realistic feel to the wiring. If it's too much, you can cut a little bit end off. When you come to the end, rather than do it tight, just do like an open coil. So it's like an open coil of a spring to guide it along. Like that, yeah, perfect.
Okay.
All right, complete the other side.
Now, should I follow? This is actually a stronger.
Yes,
branch.
absolutely.
Follow
right.
that branch rather than
Absolutely
this
right.
one.
Yeah, that would be the sort of leading shoot. Keep using the gin pliers, you'll find it very useful. Would you like to place the branch in position? Let me see what you
So
think.
we were going to call that the front, weren't we?
Yeah.
So this one needs to come.
Okay. All right. Another comment I will make now. If you come this side, Tracy, you see the branches when they come out of the trunk, they don't have to be just straight like that. You notice how this one comes out and then drops down like that. So it doesn't have to just come out straight like that, but it can drop down and go like that. So it gives it more artistic bend. Like this one also, it comes out and then goes down. See? Comes up and then goes down. So that's
Yeah.
what I've been trying to do. So at the top there, where it comes straight out, let us see if we can make it drop down a little bit. It gives it a different dimension, so it doesn't sort of interfere with the other ones. And then I can bring it up again like that. Huh? See, down and then up. And then with other wire I can wire this, so I make the head fuller. Okay, so that's how we do that. And same with this one. Same with this one. Let's deal with the pad again. You get the general idea. I'm trying to make it more the taper, the conical type shape. So with this one also, you can, okay, so this tree, we are looking at several possible fronts now, isn't it? This is a possible front.
I think we're going to need to decide soon.
This is a possible front. So many possible fronts. Really lovely. Okay, so now this one, looking at this side, there is a gap here. I can possibly fill this gap this side. So let me try and bring it this way. So if the wire is correct, you can do what you like. You see, I brought it this side.
Yeah.
So I fill this gap. Okay, so I fill this gap rather than go that way. Now we've got now these two left, so very handy. We've got this as a pair, so we're going to wire these two together, and then we will make the crown. So we're going to put the wire across from here to that. I think we can stop filming for a while and then we show the finish. The tree looks nice either from this side as the front, which you prefer, or this side. Both sides are nice. Both sides are nice. Both sides are possible. So we got a definite apex to this tree.
That's much nicer, isn't it?
Also, I think the angle of planting is okay. Whenever you have a situation where the trunk is very straight, just tilting it can make some difference. So you can try tilting it. If you tilt it for me to the right, tilt it to the right, you see you get one effect like that, you see. So you get more bend to the tree. So if you look at it, yeah, that's it. It makes it look different, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Mm.
Yeah. You need to get a flat base in there, don't you?
Can use these blocks of wood. Put the block of wood underneath. See a different angle. Tilt it even more. Tilt it even more. Yeah. So that's how you analyze the tree, you see. If you do it like that, you see it makes it look even more different. It's up to you whether you like it or not. You remove the block and see whether you like it in the previous position.
If we were going to do that, we would need to.
Yeah, of course. That's a minor adjustment. What do you think? Both are nice. Both are nice.
I think we'll leave.
This is nice.
Yeah,
This is nice.
I think if we
Yeah.
repot it at an angle, we're then going
But it's something to bear in mind for the future.
Yeah.
But what we've done mainly is to change the shape to give it a more defined conical shape rather than a flat top. And we've brought the branches down so the pads come down and then splay out. So we've improved it no end, and you've tidied the pads up. So I hope you've enjoyed this little exercise. Huh?
It's much better, isn't it?
Much better.
It really
I'm
is.
glad you think so.
Yeah.
Okay, here we have an azalea. It's not a satsuki, it's an ordinary azalea, is it?
It is. It's
Okay,
just a
so you
ordinary azalea.
tell me what you've been doing with this tree.
This was an azalea I bought probably 3 years ago. It was a much bigger tree. It had 2 or 3 trunks
Like
at the
suckers,
bottom.
yes,
Yep.
yeah.
And I cut them all away. I left
Okay.
this one, and I've actually just been growing it for the last 3 years
Okay.
to establish some branches. But I think, am I right in saying I'm now at the point where I would like to decide which branches are going to remain, which ones need to go, and work out the
Okay,
possible
for a
shape.
start, I think we need to be a bit drastic with it. Now, azaleas do bud back. So what I suggest to you might frighten the life out of you. If you can kindly hold the camera for me like that.
Okay.
It's recording. Now, using the famous drag trick, you've got to reduce the tree quite considerably to about here, this sort of size.
Right.
That means you're going to cut all that off and get it back to the trunk. You can even make a cascade tree out of it and give it a head, so you can keep that long. So you can do that. So you got to tell me what you like. It's not what I like, it's what you like that we will do. I suggest, because this is a nice sweeping branch, you can make this a semi-cascade like that with a little head like that. There's so many possibilities. If you didn't want to, you can make just an informal upright tree by making that the leader and cut these branches back to about there. So you get a tree of this size. So the scale is right. What are the possibilities? You can keep turning the tree in all sorts of directions, but I think the semi-cascade seems to be a nice option. I notice you've done some wiring, so the wiring has taken effect. So you got to tell me what you want, and then we will set about doing it.
Just
What do you think is the best?
well, that's my problem.
I suggest I suggest if you go for the semi-cascade, it'll come out very nice.
So using this branch
Yeah.
here.
That's cascading down with a little head. Be careful, don't bend it too much, you may split the
Yeah.
branch. An informal upright tree may be too common. See, these are like life choices. You're faced with so many different options.
I know.
You've got to
And this
make.
was that's why you're doing it.
All right.
I like the shape of this branch.
Yes, so do I.
And I quite like the way this is mimicking it
Yeah.
above it.
Yes.
Really what to do
Okay.
with this side here.
You
I mean,
tell me
should-
what
do
you
do think
decide
all
and we
of that
can
should
achieve
go?
it.
And we work with the trunk, these two branches.
Okay.
Oops, I've broken that.
Oh, I said.
Just here, yeah. Look,
Right.
you have to. It might have decided for us. You might need to have a look at that.
Semi-cascade?
This branch.
Don't
here.
worry, don't worry, I'll deal with it. No, nothing is ever lost. What are you thinking when you do that? Have you turned the tree around? Let's see what other options from the other side.
Yeah, you can see which way it faces, can't you?
I think the other side is more interesting.
Yeah, I think it's got to be a change made to that aspect.
Don't worry about taking too long to decide, because I have people who take years and years, 2-3 years to decide, and they never do anything because they can't decide what to cut off.
If this branch was to go, the one that I've just broken, if that was taken out and this branch was then brought around so that we use this shape,
You want it to be upright rather than a semi-cascade or not?
I think I just like a bit of movement in it.
Okay, yes,
actually,
yes.
because there are some
Okay.
nice movements in some of the branches. And I'm just wondering if we could utilise that shape here to maybe start training this
Okay.
branch around to give it sort of an S shape at the back. Keep this branch but make it a lot shorter.
Okay, let's
And
make
maybe
the,
lose that one.
let's simplify the problem a little bit. It's recording. If you can hold the camera for me,
Okay.
looking at that. I'm going to reduce the problem by shortening the branches. That will make less confusion. Don't worry, these will sprout again. Trust me. Azaleas do sprout very easily. In fact, they're used for hedging and topiary, so don't worry about them not sprouting. So with that, I think, so I'm doing that so that you can see the possible outline for the tree. If we wanted to make an informal upright, there are still different ways of doing it. Let me just cut this wire off, take it out of the pot. The method of analysis is common to all trees, and these are the little tricks we do. So let us take it out. It's growing very well. Very vigorous tree. What a lovely root ball. So you can do that, or if you do it this way, that's a possibility. Sweeping up, make that come up like that. So that's possible. Can you see? You can see the movement there, like that. So we are not having a cascade. This you said has broken. So
yes.
Broken, let's get rid of it. Let's not worry about that anymore.
Gone.
Gone. You see that you can see a lot of movement now.
Yes.
And we can bring this back on itself like that. Can you see? Make an S like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
So how about going that way? Going that route. So be warned, they're a bit brittle, so you got to handle them with a bit of respect in case you split them. Okay, we'll try and give a little bend here, carefully, and do something with these. I think we don't need them that long, so getting the scale right also helps. See, removing all that foliage now gives you more attention to the form and shape of the trunk. Okay, why don't we put a piece of wire maybe from here to there so that we can introduce a curve there.
Okay.
All right, so have a look at what we've done. So we've now taken some bold decisions, and we've now got a structure for the tree as an informal upright tree, and we will let all these new shoots grow to give density to the tree, but we've got that S shape rather straggly all over the place, and then we're going to repot it at that angle, so that's not a problem. So when it's done, we'll show it to you again. So you're happy with what we've done, huh? So we've got a solution for that.
Definitely.
Good. So this is the final outcome from the tangle of branches. We've got a definite informal upright shape to the tree, and once the new shoots grow, we can build the structure more fully, and it'll be well on its way. So there we go. So that's the what we have here is ever such an interesting tree. It's a hedging honeysuckle, Lonicera. It's only about 14 or 15 inches tall from the bottom of the tree, but the beautiful feature of the tree is the trunk. Lots of character, natural without actually carving it. It's got such character, absolutely full of character. It's lost its way somewhat, so we got to decide what branches to use. I notice you've been trying to pull some of these branches down. I think we need some strong wire to do that, and we need to decide which branches to keep. There are quite a few long branches. We may take one or two off, so from this tangle we will try and find some order out of the apparent chaos. So I'm looking at it from this side, and if I compare it with the other side, I think you're right that this is the better side, don't you think?
Yes.
Clearly superior side. This is a bit of a potential apex, and these are branches that can be used, but as I said, there are a bit too many. If you can kindly hold the camera for me, I will show you what I'm going to cut off. Now, there are clearly too many, and you've been trying to wire the small one. The hedging honeysuckle is a very, very prolific tree. You don't have to worry about it not producing branches. In fact, it produces so many branches that you will have a problem keeping on top of it. So some of these upward growing branches I want to take off. So I want to create a roughly triangular shape where I can. That is a nice branch. I don't think we need the wire at the top there, so we will probably take that off. We'll take these wires off. Were you trying to wire this down? So you've got some potential branches to use, so we'll make the best use of it. So again, we're trying to aim for a basic conical shape. So we're wanting to show the trunk of this. So these two branches would make a nice base for the cone. Can you see how that's the base?
Yes.
And that's what we're going to do. So we can wipe these. Now that's a nice branch there. I don't want any branches going upwards. I think you've been trying to pull this up, but I don't think you need it. And then there's too much confusion, so we're going to take some of that off. Remember, this is such a prolific tree, you'll be surprised. You will have a job keeping on top of it. So don't worry by taking this off. I'm not going to kill it, but we're just going to tidy it up. So we can begin by wiring that and then decide what to do. That may be a bit too much there, so trust me, you see there's quite a lot. I've got a back branch there. So this seems to be superfluous. So let's take that off. So we rationalized the tree a bit, so we're going to wire that. This is a nice apex. You started doing some wiring. We'll undo the wire and create a shape from that. Okay, so we've now tidied the tree up. And the beauty again is in this beautiful hollow trunk, thick old trunk. And David is asking me, what should we do with the top? So let us do the bag trick and see what would happen if we eliminated that top, like so. Would you be happy with the tree like that? Or with the dramatic gin at the top?
I think I prefer the taller version, so long as we could get some growth to come up.
I would do the same because it is very beautiful. And in nature you do get trees where the top has died, and I would prefer to keep the top. So you are right. And in time, if you put it in a round drum pot, it's got more movement this way.
Yeah,
if you look at it this way, it's very straight. If you keep it this way, in a round drum pot, this is even more dramatic.
Yeah.
So I would keep it. So that is how we would develop the tree for the future. At this angle as the front, in a round pot, keep that and have a little head there, and maybe bring that branch to this side. So there you are. I hope you've,
That's lovely.
like this
Thank
solution.
you very much.
Okay, great.
Much better.
Okay. So here we are. This is a zelkova serrata, Japanese greybark elm broom. And I believe this came from our nursery quite a few years ago.
It did.
6 years or so, or more. But with all these zelkovas, it's very hard to keep the superstructure in good condition. And we can see already that this is a dead branch. You see, it's already dead. So that's come off. We've got to clean that up.
Okay.
And then there are one or two crossing branches So we have to tidy that, maybe open it out a little bit. And that one is a bit of a kink there coming back on itself. We need to tidy that. So there are quite a few little inward growing branches. We could need to deal with that. But those of you who have these trees will be happy to know that keeping the twigs alive can be quite a problem, because in the summer when it gets a lot of foliage, the density of the foliage prevents light getting in, so the little twigs do die, and the secret is to keep it alive. In Japan, they go to the length of defoliating the tree completely to let light in. So defoliating these trees is a standard part of the maintenance. So we just tidy the tree up a little bit, and then that'll be it. But apart from that, it's fine. This being the front, I think we need to now change the front like this so that it is more in keeping, because that branch has died. The base is pretty good from this side, but when we turn it around, this, I wouldn't use this as the front so much. It's a bit complicated there. So a root like that which is crossing we can take out. Any ugly root we can take out so that we can improve the nebari. So we will do it and then show you the finished result. So if you can kindly show us the roots. So it is badly in need of repotting. So we'll proceed to repot this tree and change the front a little bit. So when a tree is in that condition, it's time it was repotted.
Yeah, look at those.
Oh, it's badly in need of cutting off. Okay, all these long roots you can cut off.
Yeah.
Okay. So I should have filmed earlier on, because we got rid of a lot of these surface roots which were crossing, but it didn't occur to me. It's like all of these were crossing like that. So we got rid of quite a few of those roots. So the thing is to try and improve the nebari. A lot of people talk about nebari, but this is how you improve it. That means get them coming out radially. So all these roots that I had cut off were crisscrossing. So as I say, I wish I had shown it earlier, but not to worry, I'm still showing you now. So some of these I've cut. And because the tree is so vigorous, it doesn't matter that we took some of them off. This is the back of the tree, so that doesn't worry us so much, but this is the potential front. So this very powerful root going there is quite nice, but this one here going that way is a bit of an anomaly. So I'm going to take this off. So when people talk about nebari, it's a constant process. While the tree is growing, you've got to keep an eye on making sure that the roots don't crisscross. And then this is also another one, but I may keep it, it's going in the right direction, but ideally it wants to come out this way. These seem to be all right. Now this one is doing a bit of a kink there, but I think it adds character to the tree. But if we're looking at it like this, it doesn't matter so much. So some of these proud roots I've already cut off. So the object is to try and show the roots gripping the soil, really gripping the soil. So I think we'll settle for that, and it's going to go back in the pot it came out of, but we're going to keep it with this as the front. Now, I know that it's a symmetrical tree. A lot of people tend to keep it bang in the middle, but if you put it slightly off center, it's still all right, you know. Yeah, it gives a little more character to it. So just this little bit off-center effect is nice. But the main thing is that we're looking at the tree like this. And we're going to show these powerful roots gripping there. So we're going to pot it up and we will show you the end result. This is the tree repotted. And you notice that we put it just slightly off-center so that it is not bang in the middle. We've done that deliberately because the root on the right is more prominent than the one on the left, so we wanted to like flow towards this side. So that's why we put it slightly off center. Makes it slightly different. Why have everything bang in the middle? We just want to be different and nice. It makes it look distinctive. So now it's got a beautiful image as a broom. So remember to turn it around so that it gets light from every side in case it becomes one-sided. There you go. So that's a lovely tree.
Thank you.
The history of this juniper, David tells me that he purchased it from me 6 years ago, 5 years ago, as a very small cutting, no thinner than that, from the growing area. And he's developed it, I think it must have developed 4 or 5 times thicker in the trunk.
Yeah.
So it's grown very well. So you've developed the tree nicely in your own style. And what seems to worry me a bit is that these lower branches seem to be more vigorous than the top. So the top is getting a bit weak. So I'm just wanting to redirect the energy from the lower branches to the top, if that is possible. If it is not possible, then I might not pursue that route. With any tree, it's always nice to see what the possibilities are. So let's not accept everything on its face value. Let's explore the different possibilities, turn it around to see if we can give more movement to the trunk. As it is, the tree is very straight. I know that there are trees that have straight trunks, but if I can give more movement to the trunk, so much the better. So let's, by twisting it and turning it, see if we can get more movement. If it is not possible, then we won't go down that route, but let's see the possibilities. So by turning it in different angles, you can always see possibilities. So you've taken all the trouble to grow this strong from virtually a cutting. So I don't want to waste all your effort, but can you see there are other possibilities too? Not necessarily having such a big tree. Straight away, if we look at the tree like this, you can see there's movement on that side. If I could use the back trick again, no, don't faint, but sometimes I look at the tree like that, you know. If I get rid of that, it makes it more compact, but it makes it more interesting because it's got more movement rather than being dead straight. Now, you don't have to do anything that I suggest, but I just want to broaden your mind to see that whenever you get a situation, look at the alternatives with the view to giving the tree more character. So that, I think, is one possibility, using that as the main line and possibly making a gin with that. You see, if I can take, there's quite a lot there. See, even that has improved it quite a bit, and have a gin at the top. So there are so many different things you can do to this tree. So one option would be to gin the whole of this area, make all that driftwood. Maybe gin the back, and then have this as the main leading shoot going up that way. You see, so that is possible. So there's so many different possibilities. I don't want you to take a snap decision, but that is what you should consider. Let it grow and then think about it. So I won't foreclose any of the options. So you can see where I'm going to teach you how to think of the possibilities. But if you gave me a free hand, I know it's very easy to say because it's not my tree, but if it's your tree, it's different. You know, you could gin that bit and gin that bit, so you have a tree like that, and then you have very dramatic driftwood effect. But it's such a drastic decision. I don't want you to take that decision straight away, but those are the different options. The tree as it is, if you kept it like this, you need to trim some of these so that it's not so vigorous, because the top is not getting a lot of the vigor. All the vigor seems to be going here. So you've got to watch that. But apart from that, the tree is looking good. If you wanted to grow it stronger and not display it as a bonsai, just put it in a bigger pot to make it grow stronger and follow the progress of the tree that way. So I will leave it like that. I won't say anything. You've got to decide what you want to do. You don't have to do it.
Okay.